PKB Day, everyone. This is the group 4 from 10A. Today, we will be discussing the types of plate boundaries. Before the discussion, these are the objectives. First, identify the each types of plate boundaries. Second, give specific examples of each plate boundary. And the last, describe the different main ways boundaries interact.
On these two statements, what is the best definition for plate boundaries? A. A fault, or B. Edges where two plates meet? The answer is B. The edges where two plates meet.
Before we start our lessons, here are some trivias you should know about. Did you know that plate boundaries are the edges where two plates meet? Most geological activities, including volcanoes, earthquakes, and mountain buildings, take place at plate boundaries. Plate boundaries are faults, but not all faults are plate boundaries.
The Earth's crust is broken down into large pieces known as plates. It is constantly moving around while floating over the layer of molten rocks of the Earth called the mantle. The plate tectonic theory states that those large pieces of crust or plates move around driven by convection currents within the mantle. Divergent, convergent, and transform fault boundaries are the types of plate boundaries. Now, let's start with the first one, divergent plate boundary, to be discussed by Mr. Medanilla.
Hey, have you ever wondered what is divergent plate boundary? Divergent plate boundary is a type of plate boundary that is constructive. The two plates move apart each other, resulting mid-ocean ridges, seafloor spreading, trenches, and reef valleys. One of the best examples is the Baikal Rift Zone in southeastern Russia. Let's think. What will happen if there is a building constructed above of this type of plate boundaries? It will go down as the two plates move away from each other. The second type of plate boundary is convergent boundary, to be discussed by Jerry Belina.
It is a type of plate boundary that is constructive. The plates move towards each other and the plates are colliding. The collision may result in the formation of mountains, trenches, occurrence of earthquakes, volcanic eruption, and other geological events.
Here's the trivia question you should try. What is subduction? A. Process which a denser plate slide below less dense plate. Or B. Process which a denser plate rise above less dense plate. The answer is letter A.
Did you know subduction is a process which a denser plate tends to slide below the less dense plate? There are three types of converging plate boundary: oceanic to oceanic, oceanic to continental, and continental to continental convergence. In continental to continental convergence, there is no subduction process because of the same density and weight. Instead, they form mountain ranges. An example of convergent boundary is the Pacific Ring of Fire and the Himalayas Mountains.
Let's think what will happen to the mountain if the plates are still moving towards. Kung patuloy magkakaroon ng buguan ng mga plates, makabubuo ito ng mga mountain ranges at mas lalo nitong patataasin ng mga bundok sa pagtagal ng panahon.
Last but not the least of the types of plate boundaries is discussed by Andre Pangilinan.
Transform fault boundary is a type of plate boundary that is conservative. The movement of plates are slide past each other. Lest you imagine a slippery, sliding motion, take note that the surfaces involved are exposed to huge amount of stress and strain and are momentarily held in place. As a result, when the two plates finally succeed in moving with respect to one another, huge amount of energy are released. This causes earthquakes. Example is San Andreas Fault and Queen Charlotte Fault. Let's think. What will happen to the water of the river if it loses connection to the other? Answer is, it will stop processing or moving because it can't connect to each other anymore.
Now, let's have a recap.
Plate boundaries, edges where two plates meet.
Divergent plate boundary, plates that move apart from each other.
Convergent or colliding, plates that move towards each other.
Transform, plates that slide past each other.
Subduction, process which the denser plate slides below the less.
Always remember, divergent
The mantle.
Plate slide to the left.
The edge. Ay, ano ba? Ouch! Ano?
Uy, ba yung tugtog nyo?